Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, testing it a little bit, like right here. Welcome, Sassins, to this week's Ramble vlog, episode 32 or 33. I'll find out when I count them in the playlist. How have you guys been? I have been, as I always am, quite busy these past few weeks. Thankfully, I got a vlog out yesterweek. And thankfully, I'll be getting a vlog out this week as well. A good point was brought up in the comments, and that every time I promise that I'm going to do better, there's like a good chunk of time in between the next anything that is output from me, which is unfortunate. But Team Sassa and you guys and everything is always on my mind, so I'll never stop. It'll just be always a work in progress. Sort of my work ecosystem is ever fluctuating and changing and morphing, so I must change and adapt and things along with it. Yes, so let's get on to the updates for this week. I have been playing Mass Effect. I think I touched briefly on it last week. I haven't had an immense amount of time to play, but what I have played, I have, apparently contrary to everybody's opinion, because I've been abstaining from reading reviews and everything like that to form 100% my own opinion, but I've still gotten some snippets here and there of other people's thoughts on the game, and I haven't heard many positive things, but everything that I've experienced has been pretty great. I do have a huge list of reasons so far. Well, not super huge, but it is ever growing. But I'm genuinely liking the game, and all those reasons are like very, very petty. So I'm thinking for games like this, I am going to do a balance kind of rant view. In one portion, it would be, I'm still trying to figure out how I'd structure it. In one portion, it would be all of the bad things. And then in the next section, it would be all the good things. And sort of the number would be like, let's say there's 63 reasons. Go through all 63 reasons. For every good reason, it'll eliminate a reason in the bad reasons. Sorry. For every reason to play, it'll eliminate a reason not to play. So it'll find a balance, and it'll probably be closer to like 13 reasons not to play, or 6. But I gotta find out another naming system. Probably I'm just gonna stick with Rant View instead of like however many reasons not to play, which I'll be honest, they're named that for clickbait because everybody just wants to be like, oh, I want to know why not to play. 50 reasons, that's a crazy number. Rant View is a little bit more esoteric to me, so probably won't get as many views, but we'll see. Anyway, so that is what I'm thinking about for the structure of games like that. And we'll come back to that later when I start answering questions. Cosplay season is coming up for me, and I have not made any movement for a long time on cosplay. So for me, it's going to be this huge balance of like fucking Horizon, like playing video games, Horizon, Breath of the Wild, Mass Effect, Tales of Tales of that one. That JRPG. So balancing sort of video game coverage, balancing cosplay, and balancing work as well. It's gonna be. We'll see how I do. And so for that, it's also like if I focus on cosplay, the YouTube channel is gonna take a hit unless I figure out a creative way to incorporate cosplay. I'm not good enough to do tutorials, but I might do like cosplay exercises. Ooh, cosplay exercises. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I go and do that. We'll see. We will see about that. And so yeah, it's going to be a pretty hectic time, but I'll try and find a balance. And I always take suggestions. I know that I haven't had time to act on many suggestions, but if it's a really good one, I will definitely prioritize. I'm getting a red light. Does that mean that it's blinking? I thought that usually means it's recording, but I just noticed it now. What's going on? Probably very little battery left. Oh my god, yeah, super little battery left. Okay, so let's cover as much as we can before the battery goes. Okay, so Soul of Base, welcome back, as always. Thank you for your continued patronage on my page. Will we be getting another Ramble vlog for Mass Effect? Oh, I already covered this, actually. Unwittingly, I covered it. I think you could find a good number of reasons why it stinks, and I have, but I also found many reasons why I like it as well. I haven't played it much, so the verdict is out. Soul of Base, for Mass Effect 1, I can tell you why he has amnesia, and I can go into a very long, detailed explanation as to why he has amnesia. Because again, I've read all the books, played all the games, and I don't know how you feel about spoilers. That's why I'm not going to say anything other than it's not going to cover it in that game, and it's really almost not even going to cover it in the second game either. CD Projekt Red used that as an excuse to start a completely fresh story, which the writer views as non-canon. The writer of the 7 books. And those 7 books are referenced very lightly in the Witcher games. However, the Witcher games do an extremely good job. CD Projekt Red, the developer of The Witcher, does an amazing job of translating his writing into video games. It's like experiencing the exact same world after having read the books and played the video games. They do a very, very good job. So it's kind of weird that the writer doesn't view them as canon, as freaking crazy awesome as they are. So I can explain it to you if you would like. Now on to Curtis Roy, another one whose opinion I value, and I would even consider us friends. Oh, everybody on that continues to comment and that I'm getting to know a lot better. It's really nice to have friends and subscribers like that. So his question is, what's your opinion on the Nintendo Switch, and is a rant view type thing for Breath of the Wild of any interest or of interest? If so, when do you see it down the road? Okay, so Nintendo Switch, my brother got 2, which is crazy. He got 2, and seeing Breath of the Wild being played, I'm going to try and combine both. I would love to do one for Breath of the Wild, but again, I see it being something like Mass Effect, where I have to literally search for really petty reasons, and then I have to balance it out with good reasons. Because everything I've seen on that game looks incredible, absolutely amazing. The Nintendo Switch itself, if they have a GameCube controller adapter, then I'm down. It's a great system. If not, then it can kind of go F itself. I was never a fan of those like classic controllers with minimal buttons on them that are not really form factor ergonomically designed whatsoever. But the concept of the Switch is really cool in that you can play high quality games on the go. So my brother and his new fiance, my brother Enzer, they're in Japan right now, and they brought their Switches with them so they could freaking go to town while on the plane or while traveling or while on a bus or, however they're getting around. So I really like it for that reason. Although, I mean, come on, when you have Fire Emblem, what do you need other high quality mobile games for? And then the last question, hopefully we can get to it. Just a Bum wants to know, how powerful, aka money spent, a computer would I need to comfortably run Oculus? Well, with the recent price drop, it's more a consideration. My PC now is not even close, I'm guessing. Okay, so on a technical PC knowledge level, if you're used to building computers, if you work with computers, the minimum spec, so when I say minimum, everything will still run smoothly at performance at these minimum specs. However, just like all PC games, the higher spec you get, the more the graphical quality will improve. So virtual reality, it's very important that we keep things very smooth. So at the minimum spec, you're not going to see clipping or anything like that, like you would with typical PC games. The graphical quality could just be better. I'll put it that way. So the minimum spec is a 960, an i3 processor, 960 graphics card, NVIDIA GTX 960 graphics card, an Intel i3 processor, 8 gigabytes of RAM. Those are like the most important things you need to know, as well as having, I would recommend at least 3 USB 3.0 ports. Our recommended spec is 970 graphics card, i5, and 8 gigabytes of RAM as well, with 3 USB 3.0 ports. So I can tell you now that similar to your question, educating people on the computer buying process, and that if you buy Rift, it's not exactly going to work unless you have a computer that can Play it is a very difficult thing to tackle. So Oculus created something called the Oculus Ready program, which we bring in computers we have partnerships with multiple different PC companies, hardware companies, and we test every single component to make sure that it all blends together, works together to make a great, to be able to run Rift and all of the experiences on it. So you can literally go into like Best Buy or Microsoft or what have you and see Microsoft. I've never really been into the Microsoft store, but I know that we're selling Rifts there. And you can look at these computers and they'll have an Oculus Ready sticker on it, meaning you can just go. It really simplifies and streamlines the purchasing process. We do have an Oculus Ready computer by Cybertron that is $500, which if you're familiar with the PC buying process, that's pretty cheap for a computer to be able to run VR. You could literally just look up that bundle, probably Cybertron Rift Touch bundle, and you could pick up a bundle for Touch, Rift, and Cybertron PC for probably $1,000, which again is still a very steep entry, but for VR, high quality VR, not mobile VR like Gear VR, it's a pretty great deal. Spitting. It's a pretty great deal. So it's now cheaper than ever to enter the VR space. I hope that answers your question. Just a little bit more sort of FYI for you guys is that the reason we can run on such low specs is that we've developed something, and this is where it's crazy. I am not one of the engineers, so I don't know why they named it this other than to be funny. They created something called asynchronous space warp. And what this does is it compensates. We develop software, asynchronous space warp, to compensate for a lack of hardware. What this software does is it fills in the gaps where the hardware would fail, if that makes sense. So I've rambled on quite a bit about this. Some of you may be interested, some of you may not have, but I hope that all of you got something out of it. Keep up the questions. I always love them. I'm thinking about sending shirts to a few of you, Sasa shirts. But knowing my schedule and everything like that, I don't want to promise anything just yet. It's something that I really want to do. Whether or not I'll be able to get around to it anytime soon is another story. So I need to get our shirt production up anyway. So I just need to dedicate a weekend to doing that. And as soon as I found a place, I'll be more confident in saying who those people are and getting all of your shipping information so I can send them out, and as well as sort of what kind of shirt you would like. So, with all that being said, and wrapping up this week's Ramble vlog, as always, until fate next brings us together, and never stop playing video games.